What if I told you that one shift in your mindset could unlock doors you never imagined? That a single change in how you think could immediately transform how you live, how you work, how you lead. I'm not talking about some far-off theory or vague advice. I'm talking about a mindset so powerful that the moment you embrace it, your life will never be the same. If you're tired of waiting, tired of doubting, and ready to win, then listen carefully. This isn't just motivation, this is transformation. And it begins now. Every man walks through life holding a set of tools more powerful than he ever truly understands. Thoughts. And those thoughts become beliefs, those beliefs form habits, and those habits eventually become identity. What you think about consistently shapes who you become. That's the principle most overlook. They chase strategies, they look for shortcuts. They read books and attend seminars, but they skip the one place where transformation always begins: the mind. Not the outside world, not the environment, not even the economy, the mind. You are not stuck. You are not broken. But you might be untrained. You might be undisciplined in the way you think. And if you haven't taken time to shape your minds, then chances are it has been shaped for you by your past, your parents, your surroundings, or your fears. You've got to stop letting random forces mold the most important asset you have. It's time to take the hammer into your own hands and build something with intention. A strong mind builds a strong life. A weak mind, it makes excuses. It blames. It waits for perfect timing. It says, maybe tomorrow. But strength of mind says, if not now, then when? Everything begins with philosophy. The way you think about life, about effort, about failure, about growth, those are not minor details. They are the frame through which you interpret every situation. And the greatest truth is that philosophy is not inherited. It is learned. It is chosen. It is developed. You can decide today to adopt a new way of seeing the world, a new way of reacting to challenges, a new way of treating time, people, and opportunity. And the minute you do that, the minute you decide to upgrade your thinking, your life begins to shift. You are the architect of your mindset. That's not a metaphor. It's literal. Because every day, whether consciously or not, you're building it. Every choice you make, every book you read or don't read, every complaint you entertain or reject, those are bricks you're laying in the structure of your own mental house. Some people build shacks with leaks and no foundation. Others build castles. And it's never about intelligence or luck. It's about awareness and construction. Every input matters. Every moment you let gossip and negativity and laziness in, you weaken the walls. But every time you choose discipline, optimism, gratitude, focus, you strengthen the frame. Most people want to change their results. Few want to change their thinking. But here's the long results are downstream of mindset. It's impossible to produce long-term success with short-term thinking. It's impossible to achieve excellence while tolerating mediocrity in your thoughts. You must think above your current circumstances, because the moment your mindset rises above your environment, your actions start aligning with a new standard. And those actions create momentum. And that momentum builds confidence. And confidence makes you unstoppable. The person who builds their mindset with care becomes immune to the chaos of life. Storms may come, but their roots are deep. Disappointments may arise, but their vision is clear. You don't need perfect conditions when you have a mindset prepared for all seasons. People ask for motivation, but what they need is a mental framework. Motivation can come and go. But mindset, that stays. That drives action even when the fire burns low. That's what gets you up early and keeps you working late. Not because you have to, but because your mindset demands excellence from you. Now here's the next piece, and it's one most ignored. Discipline. Not the kind that shows up once a week, the kind that lives with you, the kind that whispers in your ear when you feel like slacking off and reminds you who you're becoming. Most people misunderstand discipline. They see it as a punishment, as a restriction. But true discipline is the greatest form of self-respect. It says, I will not settle for less than I'm capable of. Discipline doesn't hold you back. It frees you. It releases you from the chains of laziness, procrastination, and regret. Discipline is how you build freedom. That sounds backward to most. They think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the real truth is this. When you live without discipline, you're a slave to cravings, to comfort. You don't run your life. Your impulses do. And that's not freedom. That's imprisonment with no walls. But when discipline becomes a habit, when you do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel, that's when you break the chains. That's when you become powerful. Because now your days are driven by purpose, not preference. It's easy to get excited for a few days. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. That's the piece that turns dreams into plans and plans into reality. Without it, you stay stuck in the world of what could be. With it, you begin the journey of what will be. Discipline shows up when it's raining, when you're tired, when your friends are going out and you've got work to do. It shows up when no one's watching. And that's when greatness is formed. In the shadows, in the repetition, in the quiet moments of choice. And discipline doesn't mean you never rest or enjoy. It means you earn your rest. You schedule your pleasure and not seek it as a way to avoid responsibility. It means you operate from a sense of intention. You don't drift. You don't hope, you plan. And your results become predictable because they're not left to chance anymore. Discipline gives you control over your outcomes. If you want to feel confident, start with discipline, because nothing builds belief faster than doing what you said you'd do, especially when it was hard. When you keep promises to yourself, your self-worth rises. You start to trust yourself. You no longer need validation from others because your actions validate your own vision. And that is power. That is unshakable. That is the kind of mindset that makes a person magnetic. People will see it in your eyes, hear it in your words, feel it in your energy. So take inventory today. What are you feeding your mind? What are you tolerating? What standards have you set? And are you honoring them when no one's watching? Because that's where the shift happens. Not in public, a private integrity. Not in grand moments, but in quiet ones. The mindset that will change your life immediately doesn't require a seminar, a certificate, or permission. It requires a decision to take the mental wheel of your life and steer it toward clarity, purpose, and excellence. When you commit to building a strong mindset, you will find that your goals start chasing you because you've become the person worthy of them, because you've aligned your thoughts, your habits, and your discipline. And in that alignment, there is power, the kind of power that doesn't shout, but conquers, the kind that doesn't waver, but builds, and the kind that doesn't fade, but grows stronger over time. Others hope for a good year, a good break, or a lucky chance. You build it. You craft the mindset. You shape the discipline. You create the results. And in doing so, you become unstoppable. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You can't control the economy or the weather the way others treat you, but you can absolutely control how you respond. The moment that truth sinks deep into your bones, everything changes. Because from that day forward, you stop giving your power away. You stop pointing fingers. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life. You start stepping into responsibility, not as a burden, but as your greatest advantage. Responsibility is not about guilt. It's about ownership. It says, if it is to be, it's up to me. And that's the kind of mindset that puts you back in the driver's seat. When you own your decisions, your time, your habits, your reactions, then you also own your future. That's the key so many miss. They want the reward, but they don't want to own the process. But if you don't own it, you can't grow it. If you keep blaming circumstances, you remain bound by them. Life responds to responsibility. It hands more opportunity to the ones who are prepared, who are consistent, who say, not excuses, only execution. So look at your results right now, not to judge yourself, but to wake yourself up. Everything you have or don't have is a reflection of what you've been willing to accept, not what you deserve, what you've accepted. The good news is that the moment you raise your standards, the moment you take full responsibility, you rise above your excuses. And the world takes notice because the world respects those who are responsible. They get promoted. They get trusted. They get chosen, not because of luck, but because of their character. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be responsible. And that means you start today, not someday. It means you show up even when no one's watching. It means you stop outsourcing your peace to other people's behavior. You begin to realize that success, happiness, fulfillment, they don't come from outside circumstances. They come from how you respond to those circumstances. Now, let's move into something subtle but transformational small shifts. Massive impact. We've been conditioned to believe that big change requires big action. And yes, there's a time for bold moves. But most of the time, transformation begins with a whisper, not a roar. It begins with a small decision. So small that most people overlook it, but small hinges swing big doors. A tiny adjustment in your thinking can unlock exponential results. Imagine what happens when you change can't to how can I? It's just 3 words, but it opens your brain to possibility instead of shutting it down. What happens when you replace I have to with I get to? Suddenly, the task becomes a privilege. That's the power of small shifts. They rewire your focus, your energy, and your attitude. And when done consistently, they rewrite your entire story. Every small shift compound. The decision to wake up 30 minutes earlier, to read 5 pages a day, to drink more water, to say no to distractions, to say yes to your goals. These aren't dramatic moves, but they are directional moves. They push you toward growth, toward discipline, toward mastery. And over time, they make the difference between average and extraordinary. Success isn't a giant leap. It's a series of purposeful steps. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. The world doesn't reward the occasional flash of greatness. It's a person who shows up every day with intention. And that's why small shifts matter, because they are doable. And they build momentum. And momentum is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Next comes a law most people never hear until it's too late, and success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Read that again. You don't chase success. You grow into it. And that's where your mindset, your habits, your discipline, and your consistency all come together. The farmer doesn't chase the harvest. He prepares the soil. He plants the seed. He waters. He waits. He tends. And the harvest comes to him. The same is true with life. You can't demand what you haven't prepared for. You can't ask for results that you haven't earned. But when you become the kind of person who deserves success, success shows up. And the best part, you can become that person starting today, not by waiting for a miracle, but by choosing growth, by acting with integrity, by showing up even when it's hard, by doing the things others aren't willing to do. That's how you shift from wishing for success to attracting it. It doesn't come to the one who wants it most. It comes to the one who is most prepared for it. Success is attracted to clarity, to courage, to character. It's attracted the person who has outgrown fear and excuses. It shows up for the person who is ready, not because they're special, but because they've done the inner work. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to align better. You need to ask yourself, am I the kind of person my dreams are looking for? And if not, what's the small shift I can make today? Finally, there is a principle so powerful, yet so often ignored. Stand guard at the door of your mind. And you are the gatekeeper. And what you allow in, through media, through conversations, through self-talk, becomes the raw material for your life. Just like a garden cannot grow flowers if it's overrun with weeds, your mind cannot produce greatness if it's filled with garbage. You don't just feed your body, you feed your thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your results. You must become ruthless about what you allow to take root in your mind. Negativity is not harmless. It's corrosive. It erodes ambition. It suffocates potential. It disguises itself as realism, but it's poison in disguise. You must become intentional. Choose your influences. Choose what you read, what you watch, who you spend time with. If someone wouldn't be allowed to poison your food, don't let them poison your mind. If something doesn't lift you, challenge you, or help you grow, let it go. The mind is a sacred space. Treat it as such. And just as you protect it from the outside, must also protect it from yourself. Your self-talk matters. Don't speak to yourself with disrespect. Don't let doubt have the final word. Don't rehearse failure in your mind. Instead, train yourself to see challenges as growth opportunities. Speak life into your goals. Declare your standards. Affirm your resilience. Because your mindset is not fixed. It's fluid. It's shaped every day by what you allow. If you let in excellence, discipline, and gratitude, your mind becomes fertile ground for greatness. But if you allow in fear, drama, and excuses, you'll always find yourself stuck. So guard your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does. In the end, life will offer whatever you are prepared to handle. Not what you wish for. Not what you dream about. What you're prepared to handle. And preparation begins in the mind. So decide now. Decide to become the person who takes responsibility. The kind who understands that small shifts create massive impact. The kind who attracts success through their daily decisions. And the kind who fiercely guards their mindset like a soldier on the front line. Because when you make that decision, when you choose to elevate your thoughts, your habits, your expectations, your boundaries, everything begins to change. Not someday, immediately. That's the power of mindset. That's the secret to transformation. That's the beginning of the life you were meant to live.